Record. So welcome to the call. I really appreciate you guys hopping on. I know that it gets late and some of you will have to get off and some of you will probably hop on late to tend to kids and do all that stuff. So I appreciate you guys taking the time away from your family and your business and your chores and your workouts, whatever, to just hop on and listen and be a part of the community and the team. One thing, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So announcements just right off the bat. Sunday, January 17th at 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern is going to be our next live event for coaching. So if you are kind of like on the cusp of wanting to go Emeralds, or maybe like that's a goal of yours this month or next month, and you're really not sure what to do or how to go about it, this is an awesome event to invite people that you think would make great coaches, or maybe people that you've talked to about coaching, but they really didn't get the whole gist of it through word. This is a great opportunity to invite them. They can be a fly on the wall. They can just listen in, and you're going to hear from the top coaches on Team Fit Addicted. Our stories, how we manage our schedules, what we do as coaches, and all that stuff. So it's an awesome event to invite them to and to get them familiar with our team. And I think that's the other cool aspect of it, is that they get to see a lot of our personalities, and not just one person, but a lot of everyone, a lot of people. So it's really cool. Make sure you're inviting to that. Meg has the link up and live, and that is posted in the Team Fabulously Fit page in the file section. So you can add your people right into there. We'll start posting on Sunday. So that's that. Challenge packs that are on sale this month: 21 Day Fix, the 21 Day Fix Extreme, the Kickstart challenge packs for both of those, and the 3-day refresh. So make sure you're utilizing it. If you guys are not at Success Club yet, make sure you go back and the sales and what that means, and the leverage that you have to get the 21 Day Fix and the refresh and a month of Shakeology and 30 days to on demand for $180. That's a steal. That's awesome. So make sure you know the value of what's in the challenge pack. I'm not going to go over that because you can find that in your Coach Online office in the FAQs if you don't know what's in the challenge pack. So make sure you're checking that out. If you didn't listen to the recording last week, I highly encourage you to listen to that recording. We really talk about setting the vision for the year, setting your goals, and trying to, get that passion back after a busy holiday season, and just trying to, I've talked to so many coaches, I want to refocus. What do I do? And get on that call, listen to that call, and figure out what you want for this year to move forward. And, one thing that I talked about, and I really want you guys to think about, and I probably will mention this every week, is it's not about necessarily the rank. It's not about your income. It's not about Success Club all the time. But what do you want for your life? What do you want this to do for your life? What can this opportunity do for your life? Maybe it is like a Lindsay Matway or a Janelle, and it's $1 million business and it's this and that. Or maybe it's simply being able to pay for a vacation. I got a message from a coach last week, or maybe a few weeks ago, super proud. She paid for her whole entire family of 7 to go to Disney World for days. Not just a day, days. And she paid for that with Beachbody. So they don't take any of their income. That's huge. That's awesome. To be a coach less than a year and to be able to take your family on that kind of vacation, that is awesome. So think about not necessarily the income or rank goals or anything like that, but what do you want to do with that? That's all great if you have that title, but what do you want to do with that? What do you want to treat your family with? What do you want to do? Matt and I are trying to pay down debt so that I can bring him home so that he doesn't have to be away in Arizona at a kickoff meeting. He can be home and he can come with me to my Beachbody kickoff meetings, and we can do that stuff together and not have, these single parenting back-to-back weeks. So think about what this can do for your family life, for you as a person, for you as a mom, for you as a wife, for your family, the stress, think about those things, because those are the things that keep you going. Okay, so kind of going off of what Lisa talked about, what I talk about on these calls might be repetitive a few times a month, but we have new coaches joining in. We have some people coming on, coming off. So there's going to be a few things that you're going to hear me say week to week, which I think is okay because I think we all need that reminder. And as you start to add coaches to your team, I think it's important for you to remember how to get them started right and what tools to get them started right so they don't get super overwhelmed. So I've had a few people reach out to me that want to get their business restarted and they don't know where to start, or they have coaches that want to get restarted and they don't know how to tell their coaches to get started. So I'm going to tell you 2 things that they need to do. And these are the only 2 things that I'm going to tell you to do with them. Okay, so if you're a coach who's looking to get restarted on this, or you are listening to this and you have coaches who have come to you that said that, 1, send them the link to Meg's module system. And they can start that baby from module 1, video 1. There are 3 coaches on here of mine right now that have done really, really well just by following the modules. And when I say really well, some are hitting Success Club right off the bat, and some are posting like I've never seen them post before. And that is so exciting sometimes as an upline coach to see people come out of their comfort zone and come alive and really like just surprise you and impress you and make you proud. Like, that's awesome. And it's because I know that these coaches that I'm thinking of are in the modules. They're doing the systems. They're listening to those videos. And so they're learning the business from the basics and applying what they're doing. So I know that no matter how fast or slow their success is, they're doing it the right way. So it's going to come. So make sure that you're into that module link. The link is in the file section. It's listed under the link to Meg's module system, I think. But the link is right there. It's super, super simple to use, super user-friendly. Yeah, it's called Link to Meg's Training Modules. It was posted in November, so it's about 20 documents down. But get started on there and start module 1 and go through it. Some videos are going to be short and sweet because they're going to be stuff that they've heard before. It's okay to hear it again. Like, you can listen to some trainings and things are going to stick out to you. The second thing is I did a big team call, Getting Started Right. And I would advise them to get on that call as well. So that call was done on December 4th, and it's called Getting Started as a New Coach. Again, there's a file. Click Getting Started as a New Coach, and that YouTube link will be right there. That's a great resource because I literally go through a what is coaching call with them, or what is the Getting Started Right call with them, and get them started and go over what do you need to do and what are your next steps and where should you be and what you should be doing. So those are those 2 tools that if they haven't done those or you haven't done those yet, there's not much more we can do to get you started because you don't know the basics yet. So make sure that you're getting on the videos and you can learn the basics before we can move forward and teach you and explain to you what the Power of Threes or Success Club is if you don't understand the whole concept. Any questions on that? You guys are, feel this is open forum, so feel free to ask questions. Or if you're a new coach, how has this helped you? How has the module system helped you? What have you thought? Any feedback on any of that from anyone? No? Oh, you saying something, Sarah? Hold on. Let me unmute you. Go ahead, Sarah. Do you want to say something?
I'm going pretty slowly through Meg's modules, but those have been super duper helpful. It's just every time you learn something, you can go and apply it immediately, and it works. It's awesome. It's been good.
Good. And she is a brand new coach. She started in December, end of November, and she hit Success Club in December.
Yeah. And hopefully again in January.
It's almost there for January. Yeah. So she's doing the modules and they're paying off. And and your posts are great. You're talking to your people, you're sharing your story, you're sharing your journey. So you're doing really good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay. So for those of you feeling stuck, I've kind of heard that, you don't know what to do or people aren't responding. And first, what I want to tell you is that you're not alone. hold on, I'm trying to take my sweatshirt off. You know, we go through that. Like, I don't run clean eating groups anymore because they're never good. Like, I just got burnt out with them. My following got burnt out with them. You know, so it's not something that I want to do. So sometimes you do get stuck, and maybe you just don't have that for a month. Or maybe you just need to find a new type of free group. So if you're a newer coach on here, or maybe you've been coaching for a few months and you've run a few free clean eating groups, I want you to get creative. Like, one of the fun parts of this business is that it's not like cookie cutter. You can really do what you want with it. So, you know, what information do you have that you can share with others that would be viable for a free group? You know, like, when I can finally announce this pregnancy, I'll run like a 5-day free group for, you know, expecting moms. And maybe we just go over like what your water intake should be, foods to stay clear from, foods to help you, exercises to help you, you know, like just simple tips and tools, but it's free information. It's a way for me to connect with them. So, you know, think about that. It doesn't necessarily have to be fitness. It doesn't have to be food, but it can be something that makes you you. Anything coming to mind?
Homeschooling. I could do that. Something with that.
Yep, that's a good one. You know,
I don't know. It's my first year, so I don't really know what I would have to offer. But we could talk about it.
You could even do just like 5 tips from a newbie homeschooling mom. Like, it doesn't have to be, but what have you, I'm sure you've learned 5 things. I don't hope.
Just 5.
Only 5. It's really been slow.
Yes. It's been a slow year thus far.
Yeah. But that would be great. Like, that would be a really cool, or, you know, the first day you could explain why you chose homeschooling. If you feel comfortable sharing that. I know sometimes it's a personal decision, but,
yeah.
Or just, you know, why you didn't, you know, what, but I think, you know, based on what we talked about in our leadership call right before this, I think that's a good part of you that people can eventually learn and get to know when you start to feel comfortable sharing that.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think that'd be a cool topic because that is specific to you.
I think I have a couple things. One that's not as specific to my journey, but I've been working on a new free group concept. I had listened to a podcast from Shalene in personal development a while ago, and it really spoke to me, like what she was saying I could turn into a free group. It's called a weekend weight loss group, and I'm just trying to tweak it to really fit because I want to give the idea of what our challenge group looks like, but in a free setting, but it's got the meal plan, it's got the workout, it's got very specific like before and after. So it's pretty cool, and it keeps it to a weekend. And I want to show people that you can get these results in a weekend. And if you can do this in a weekend with this setting, what can you do in 3 weeks? What can you do in a month? And then another one, I haven't really shared much about my story and my history, but I really am gearing this next year to try and figure out a way to do one about exercise and fitness and mental health. I've got a pretty significant history of mental health, and just really, really pretty brutal depression and anxiety, and just trying to tap into those people because I know it's probably a lot more prominent than a lot of us know about. And just no one really knows that about me. So I would really like to find a neat way, because I think there's so much research behind, you know, the correlation there. So that's kind of something I'm looking at for this year to really put in place.
I love that. Anyone else have anything that you're good at or that like is specific or unique to you?
My new thing that I'm wanting or in the works of working on is nutrition for kids, and just how important it is to start them at a young age.
That's awesome.
And the benefits, The
benefits of what?
Well, just of starting them at a young age. You hear often, oh, I'm just getting old. That's why I have this. That's why I have that. And yeah, I'm just a firm believer of nutrition it's our medicine. Of course, you may run into things along the way, but that's my next step.
That's awesome. I love that. That would be a huge one. I think all of us with kids on here would be like, yeah, sign me up for that. Like, so I have a cold hard fact to tell my grandparents and my husband why my kids can't eat red dye.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't want my kids to have it. I try really hard because they go crazy.
Yeah.
That thinks I'm the one who goes crazy with it. I'm like, no.
Right.
So like those are 3 really, really good examples of just kind of thinking outside the box. And I think, you know, it does it 2 things. It offers there's 3 things. It offers your customer something new and unique. It lets your customers and your viewers get a little bit closer to you in your life. And you help them with something that's not fitness and health related. Maybe. But it's not asking them like, it's not a typical fitness group. It's not a typical core group, but it's hitting home in a different way. It's providing them with useful information they can share with others and that they can start implementing right away. So you might have to think outside the box. It's not something that like, okay, I'm going to run this on Monday. It might be something that you work on for the next 4 weeks and you launch, you know, the end of February, the beginning of March. That's okay. You don't have to launch it like tomorrow, but start getting some ideas and get some stuff in the works. Like Alyssa said, like she's listened to a podcast a few weeks ago, or maybe a few days ago, but it's not something she's implementing on Monday. It's not something she's throwing together. She's putting it together. She's going to make it work. She's going to make it valuable. She's going to make it useful. And I think it's kind of therapeutic for you to put what you've learned and teach others. Like that's really cool to be able to share your story and your struggle and something you learned to help other people. So that's one way to get unstuck, is just start to get creative. Who are you? What do you have to offer? And kind of sharing that with your viewers and your followers. If you're feeling stuck, like when you're feeling stuck and you're kind of having a bad day or you're having a bad week and you're not in the groove, don't detach yourself from the team. I can tell you right now, like when I'm like just so busy and I'm like going, like the last thing I want to do is get on calls or do my mastermind call or talk to Leanne and, you know, hear how focused she is. And I'm like, but I'm so not focused. Or, you know, not listen to the National Wake Up Call or not get into this Rank It Up training. Like, I'm just like, that's just one more thing on my plate. But I've learned, and I know that when you feel that way, the best thing you can do is to get back in with those people who build you up and bring you up and want to see you thrive. You know, I shared on my leader call right before this, like, I was having a really rough December the last few weeks, like with the pregnancy and the holidays and family and this and that. Like, the last thing I wanted to do was work. But I knew this Rank It Up training was coming on Monday, and it was so good to be back in a training and like be focused. I was like, I'm doing this. It's happening. And ever since Monday, like I could probably sit at my computer and work for 4 or 5 hours. Like I've just got that fire back. But it's because I'm seeing all these. I'm plugged into these coaching groups that I've never been a part of for, you know, being elite and whatever. And it's just like that community, that like seeing other people like focus and go forward. I left that like paralyze me for a week or 2 and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. But now I'm like, okay, I want to catch up. Like I want to be there. Like I want to do that. And it's because I poured myself in when I wanted to pour myself out. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling unmotivated and you do nothing else between now and next Wednesday but listen to calls and get on these calls, like that might be all you can do right now, mentally and physically and time-wise. But getting plugged in and surrounding yourself with the people who lift you up is going to help you get unstuck and remotivate you, right? Like I hope when you get off these calls, you feel a little bit more fired up about what you're doing. And, you know, I remember when I was on these calls with Meg, like I'd be like, even now I'm like, I'm so tired at 7 o'clock. Like I just want to go to bed. And now I'm like, wired, and I probably would have had like 11:30, and you know, so you know, think about those, like just plugging yourself in and getting yourself pumped up is just kind of fun. So don't pull yourself away, pour yourself into it. Third thing, kind of like I'm getting unstuck or just finding new people or getting out of like a rut. I was talking to a coach and she asked me, she goes, do you message every new person that likes your page and just say thanks for liking your page? And I was like, absolutely. Like I try to message 7 to 10 people a day just from my like page likes. Now I pay for an ad, so that's why I get that many a day. So maybe you have 1 or 2, maybe you have 3. That's okay. But make sure you're messaging them and make sure you're connecting with them. Even if you know them, like, hey, just thanks for liking my fitness page. I really appreciate the support and the follow. How are you and the family? Did you guys have a great weekend? Like, just bring it back to a casual conversation, but acknowledge the fact that they liked your page and they're supporting your business. That's huge. This is your business. So when they like your like page, they're liking your business. So making sure, yes, I message every person on who, like, not every person, I shouldn't say that because obviously people fall through their cracks. And I will say that if you go to someone's profile page and they don't have a profile picture, they don't have a cover photo, or it's like a weird image and they haven't been on Facebook in a year, don't message them. Because that's probably not someone that you're going to want to, you don't relate with. Like, if I see someone that likes my page, now I go back and forth. I kind of go with my heart on this, but there are some times that I'm like, we probably don't mesh. Like, probably just don't mesh. And if you don't mesh, like, you're really not going to, it's going to be hard to work with that person, you know? So, but you can do what you want with your business. If you want to message every single person that likes your page, whether you feel like you would mesh or not, that's totally up to you. But I want to work with people who I relate to because that's who I'm going to best be able to help. And then with that, I will go to, so like, let's say I go to a post and it has like 50 likes. And 50 likes is like amazing day these days. It's like, yes. But I'll click on that and I'll message all those people who liked my page or liked my post that I've never connected with. So sometimes, like, you'll see like repeat people who like your stuff, and so you'll kind of know like the people who are like the newest ones, or it'll say like invite to page, so maybe they don't like your page but they saw your post because somebody else liked it. Message them because they've already liked your stuff. They like something on your page, so you can talk specifically about that post and say, hey, I saw you liked my post about, you know, my breakfast choice, like of eggs, toast, and avocado. Like, that was a big post the other day. You know, do you eat healthy, or are you on a nutrition plan, or whatever? Like, bring it into right nutrition because they liked a nutrition post. So making sure you're messaging the people that like your posts. And that will help you kind of like reconnect with people and get that like mojo going of like, okay, where do I find people? Who do I connect with? Connect with the people who are liking you. And you'll feel really good. And they'll feel really good. Because I've gotten a lot of times where people message me back, like, oh my gosh, thanks for messaging me. Like, that's so great. I can't believe you take the time to do that. You know? So, two-way street. Anything on that with like messaging people and likes and that kind of stuff? Questions, successes? Nothing?
That was super helpful.
Yeah?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Good. Good. The other thing with that, if you're struggling, like, I got a lot of my when I was just starting this business, I plugged myself into twin mom groups. You guys have heard me say this before, like twin mom groups, boy-girl twin mom groups, multiples of Florida, boy-girls of Florida, boy-girl twins of Florida, Palm Beach boy-girl twins, Palm Beach twins, like all these like sub-black groups. And I just started asking questions or answering questions and just started like being a presence on there. I didn't private message people right away, but I just started, you know, putting my name on the page so that when I did private message them, my name wasn't like, who is this person? Like, they had seen my name before. So that's another great way. Like, you don't, like, maybe that's something you start putting on your daily to-do list, is to go in and answer 1 or 2 questions that are posted in one of those mom groups. And maybe one time a week you post a question. Healthy Meals for Toddlers is another group. When I was nursing, I joined nursing groups. I joined pumping groups. I joined baby-led weaning groups. I joined like making your own baby food groups. I joined like baby wearing groups, like all this stuff that interested me and that would help me as a mom and where I could add value. I joined those groups. So for me, like, a mom is my huge niche. You know, so if you're a mom too, like, find those local groups that you can join in on and and start networking with, like, or if you have dairy-free kids, or if you have, like, there's groups for everything on Facebook. Everybody has a support system. So kind of think about, like, if there's something specific to your child, whether it's an allergy or if it's, their speech delay, like, just, you don't want to use that to your advantage, but it's a way for you to connect with other moms who are going through what you're going through. Like, I have a lot of twin moms on my team. I have a lot of twin moms as my challengers, because we can connect with the chaos of newborn twins and then toddler twins, which is almost worse. But so just think about who would you connect with? Who could you sit down with and talk for, like, hours, even if it was just on one topic? So those are groups that you can search on for Facebook or meetups or things like that. So kind of got off on a tangent, but if you're feeling stuck with who to add to your network, like, those are great tools for you to get going. And, when I get further along with this pregnancy, you better believe it. I'm going to find a moms who are doing August and July group, and I'm going to find a pumping group again, and I'm going to find whatever comes my way. Like, I'm going to find and get myself plugged in, because I'm going to need those moms when I have toddlers and a newborn. I'm going to need that support system. So to get yourself plugged into that. The next thing, if you're feeling unstuck or where to go or how to help you or what to keep you moving, is find a success partner or partners. So when I started, I had Meg paired us up. When we started as a new coach, she paired us up, and Ariel and I were amazing together. We went diamond on the same week. We lost our diamond on the same week, and then we got our diamond back on the same week. We're, like, super in sync. And we're still great friends to this day. We're just talking now, like, there's a core of us. There's like 6 or 7 of us that, like, we just gel. We have our little group. We share mastermind calls. We share documents. We share trainings. Me, Manny, and Abby are all going to be running a 10-day diamond group in February together. And Leanne and I have worked super close this year to really just hone in on personal development, personal growth, and personal goals. So success partners for me and my business have been absolutely, you're welcome, absolutely instrumental in my success as a coach, as a leader, and as in this business. So for a success partner, what that means is I was afraid to take one on because I didn't want another responsibility each week. So, just to give you some examples of how ours have kind of changed, and what I started with, like, Ariel and I would start with just sharing each other's weekly goals. What do we want to accomplish that week? It could be like posting 5 days, 7 days a week. It was completing 4 power hours per week. It was, talking to 5 people about coaching, hitting Success Club 5, like, all those small goals that you have that really start making your business build. We would just check in with each other weekly. And that's what we did. That's all we did at that point. Then we started to grow, and we would host challenge groups together and host coaching events together. And I know on our team, Alyssa, Rachel, and Miranda have hosted free groups together. And I think that's really cool because it takes the work. Like, if you guys are all going to run a free group, do it together, and then you each only have to post 1 or 2 times a week. Or maybe you're each posting, maybe you split it up and one person's posting, I don't know, however, but the work's divided. And then you have more people when you're first starting out in one group versus your 4 people, but now it looks like you have 12 or 15 because you have 3 coaches in there with their people. So it helps your customers feel like there's a bigger setting, a bigger support system to help get you going. So running groups, and then the other thing is sharing ideas, sharing concepts, bouncing ideas off of each other, bouncing frustrations and struggles and triumphs and just, the business side of it, because I'm not always available. So it's nice to have that immediate support that you can text or message if you want. Leanne and I have taken it a step further, and now we talk every single day. So that's just kind of evolved into what it is. But now she's one of my best friends. Like, it's not just business. Like, it's personal. Like, the morning I found out, she knew I was pregnant before my husband found out I was pregnant. I hope he never knows that. But, because it's something that I've been talking to her about and praying with her about and sharing that struggle with for her for the whole year. So, which ties me in my next thing, like, the success partner doesn't just become a success partner for the business, but a partner in a friendship that carries into your life and makes this business feel like it's not just business, but it's community and it's friendship and it's family. And I can guarantee you all the girls that we're super close with and that Meg's Diamonds and Star Diamonds, like, we know all the ins and outs of our marriages and our struggles with the business and our struggle with our weight and our struggle with our, like, we're family. We get together and, you know, we're sharing tears and we're praying and we're doing this, and it's just like a little small group kind of sometimes. But it's a really cool community. And the only way we got that is we just started that foundation with success partners and sharing our goals for our business, because sharing our goals for our business transformed into sharing goals for life, and that all kind of intertwines. So with that, if you, Alyssa's phone raised hand. Do you have a question?
I raised my hand. No, I just wanted to jump in on that too, because don't laugh at me. I'm following the rules. I think when it comes to that too, is you have to have that connection and feel, you know, because there's so many different personalities, and it's not that one is a better or a worse. It's just, where's that connection? And I feel like you know when you know, and it's not necessarily go to whoever's got the highest success club for this month or last month or the month before, but really, like, who do you connect with? Like, who is asking questions that you maybe have the same questions to, and who's interested in the same things you are, and whose posts kind of seem like your posts, because when you kind of have that similarity, that's like, I feel like with Rachel, Miranda, and I, as we're kind of in that same spot, and we kind of post about the same things in the same way, and it really, I think we kind of just push each other and motivate each other, and I think, you know, that's been really helpful. It's not just who's doing the best for a month and that's who you want to connect with. It's really, you got to feel that connection with the person. You know, it's been helpful for me.
I think that's true. And I think another part of that, like, you know, Ariel and I are still really close, but when I became a mom, well, I was a mom before I started, but when that transition, like, from now I was a new coach and trying to manage 2 toddlers, and she was a new coach working full time who wasn't married quite yet. So our lives, I was married, no job, 2 kids. She was not married, full-time job, no kids. So it was like our lives were different. And so it got to a point where I just needed support in a different way. And that's where, like, you know, Manny and Leanne, like, they were doing their business full time, and they do have children, and, you know, so it, to your point, Alyssa, like, it really does help to have people who are kind of in the same walk of life and have that same kind of style that you do, to be able to connect with it beyond the business. So, you know, if you're interested in a success partner, like, what, and it doesn't have to be someone that's like, if you're my personally sponsored coach, like, your success partner does not have to be somebody that's on my personal team. Like, if you have been following, like, another coach that you jive with that's not on my personally sponsored team, that's totally fine. Like, it does not have to be, you don't have to be on the same team. So if that's something you're interested in, you know, I'll open up a document or something, and we can kind of get something going and try and pair. I know we did this before, but some coaches have left and we've added new coaches. So maybe we can try again going into 2016 and kind of pair you guys up a little bit better. So kind of think about where you are in life and what you kind of need. Like, are you working full time? Do you have children? Are you a stay-at-home mom? Are you a full-time working mom? Are you a single mom? Like, all those different avenues of life kind of play into how you balance this business, how you post, and who your niche is. So kind of think about that as well, which ties me into my next point. Make sure, you know, I've had coaches who tell me they're adding to their network, they're, you know, doing their power threes, they're doing all that stuff, and they're just not seeing success. And sometimes I want to call it the BS card, because I guarantee that if you are doing those things consistently daily, you're going to see some growth in your business. Like, but I mean, there's Lindsay Matway, Melanie Mitchell. Melanie Mitchell got on the National Wake Up Call and said, all I do is my power of threes. I might just do more of them, but that's what I'm doing. She's not doing anything more. If I ask Meg, what does a 15-star diamond do? She goes, the same exact thing you do, just maybe I do power of 9s or I do power of 6s. It's the same thing, but in bigger quantities. But I think when I see coaches who aren't seeing immediate success or feel that feeling of I'm making a difference, it's because you're not posting your story. You can get on there and post every day that you worked out. That's great. That's awesome. But if you don't give a little bit of who you are, people can't connect with you. If they just see workout and Shakeology and water on your page, that's really hard to connect with. And so as much as I want to say, like, if you're a new coach, start posting 1 or 2 times a day. But it doesn't have to be just fitness. Post about you. Post about your family. Post about things that you like. Post about the crappy snowy weather. Post about, it's 50 degrees in Florida and I'm wrapped up in a blanket at the playground with my kids because it's freezing. Post about life and what's happening, because that way people can connect with you. They can get a little bit of your humor. They can get a little bit of who you are. And then when you start to post your fitness posts and stuff like that, like, things come out. But you have to be posting your journey. You have to be posting about you. It's really hard to connect with someone and say, I really like her, I really connect with her, if all they see is the workout you did that day. Right? Most of you on here are my personally sponsored, so I'm not, why did you don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but what drew you to me? It wasn't my workout photos necessarily that made you go, she's awesome, or I like her, or I connect with her. It wasn't a daily workout photo. Rachel lowered her hand. But what was it?
I raised my hand. Did that work?
It's a lower hand on my end.
Oh my gosh.
On the screen it says lower hand, but it says 2 participants have raised the hands. The success partners have both raised their hand.
I raised my hand because Alyssa did it. I was like, oh, there's a rule I'm supposed to be following? I didn't realize. So I would say, just real quick, and I think I had told you this, but I stumbled upon you. Obviously, to the people that are on here, they don't all necessarily know. But years ago, Brittany and I knew each other. Despite looking like I'm 12, I'm going to be 35 next month. And which, side note, I like to tell people I'm about to be 40 because I'm one of the few people that loves getting older. So with that said, I'll be celebrating my 40th next month. And when I was in college, I was working with Youth for Christ. Brittany was in high school. She was in the group. So I was with her on different trips. Anyways, so I knew her at that point, her as a high school student, and we had kind of bonded that way as more like a mentor relationship, her with other people, me, whatever. I was one of the leaders. And then fast forward to just this year, I've only been doing this, I think this is my 5th month. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's been 2 seconds, and yet I also feel like I've always been doing this. So it feels weird. I feel like I have so much to learn, but I feel like I am so in it for the long haul that it feels like I was just born to do this. But anyways, back to August sometime, I had actually stumbled upon Brittany on Facebook a couple months maybe before that. And just so everyone knows, so I have 3 kids, but my husband and I have actually always felt called, and I say called meaning we feel called as a couple by the Lord to adopt. And that was whether or not we were able to ever physically have kids or not, whether we had 25 or 0, we feel the call to adopt. So about a year and a half ago, I hadn't been on Facebook for 6 years, literally had no account. About a year and a half ago, I reinstated my Facebook account. I also like to sew and have an Etsy shop. No one probably knows that, but whatever. So with that said, I, about a year and a half ago, got onto Facebook and on Instagram. And because of that call to adoption and us having some medical debt, we were like, okay, we're just gonna, my husband was outside of his work, also taking real estate classes. Anyways, I got back online so that I could kind of advertise my sewing. I love to sew, but I really realized I love sewing as like gifting it to people. Like I mean, I'm a one woman show. So when I have a bunch of Etsy orders, like last December at this time, I was overwhelmed at Christmas because I was just me and like having to miss all the time with my family, sewing a bunch of stuff for Etsy. And honestly, I made no money and I lost my love of actually loving to sew and gift people. So I was trying to, so that sounds like it doesn't relate, but that's the whole reason I got onto Facebook, was saying, okay, for this larger reason of paying off debt so that we can A, be debt free, and B, we can adopt. We were like, okay, this is an avenue I can do like through advertising, if you will, trying to build a base kind of out of nowhere after having not been on there for 6 years. And then when I just stopped. Like I'd even been doing sewing lessons from my house, and it just was so much strain on the family and both time and energy mentally and we weren't actually getting ahead. So it drained my love for something I loved and didn't add anything and also subtracted. So clearly after like months of doing that, Daniel and I were both like, okay, this just isn't working. But meanwhile, as I'd been doing that, I had stumbled upon Brittany. I did not even, honestly, the funny thing is, like a lot of people, I'm realizing in my few short months of coaching, I'm realizing lots of people know Beachbody products, but they don't know that it's Beachbody.
Yeah.
Like people love Shaun T. They love Tony. They do all these different things, and they'll be like, well, what is, I love T25. What is that? And I'm like, duh. But that was the same with me. I had stumbled upon Brittany, and I had actually lost in my last 2 years, and during this whole weight loss and just everything changing for me journey, I had lost 25 pounds with T25. And honestly, Miranda has said this before, that T25 is kind of like her spirit workout, that's like her go-to, and that's how I feel. And it's probably because I first love Shaun T and associate at a big time in my life a positive thing, like I lost 25 pounds. But so I'd been doing the workouts, and years ago Daniel and I had done P90X. I've dabbled in Insanity. I honestly didn't pay attention to the fact that they were Beachbody, nor apparently I'd been living under a rock, because nor did I know that there were a thing as Beachbody coaches. I really didn't. So I stumbled upon Brittany, who I recognized, oh, Brittany from, way back when. And I was more watching her, like I was so proud of her, to be honest. I was like, oh my gosh, she's like this amazing grown-up woman, and she like loves the Lord. Like I could see how much her relationship with the Lord had just grown. So I was more impressed by her. So 25 minutes later, I'm answering your question, just so we're clear. You did indeed ask what drew me to you. So I was watching you, and then because I was in my own fitness journey, obviously like you'd post things about like workouts and like eating and stuff. And I remember there'd be several posts where I loved, and I would even comment to you that I loved that you would, that you were, and at the risk of sounding cliche, you were always real. Like it wasn't like this fitness freak who they've never ever put a cookie in their mouth. They've never had trash to eat. They've never stumbled. They've never had a craving like, hey, I'm doing fitness and I've always been incredibly fit. While those people do have a foundation, I probably don't relate as well. Right. Like if you've ever struggled with weight, or heck, if you ever crave sugar or any crap at all, you're not going to relate to someone who literally seems like they're invincible. And I love that she had such a good balance. It was so obvious. First, the connection came with the heart from the Lord. So I was impressed with that. And then through like the other stuff, just seeing the balance, that you were truly disciplined, but balanced, which to me is like so key. Like everywhere you look, there's a new fad of eating this and doing that. And my thing is always balance. My balance is going to look a little different than yours, but everything in life, whether it's food, eating, life, your marriage, you're always looking for your balance. And part of life is going to be sometimes you're imbalanced. And that's honestly, ironically balanced. So I guess.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and I think I told you, I was actually following another girl who's like, everybody might have heard her name. She's like Megan Ewaldson, or however you say your last name. She's like one of the top whatever people.
She's like crazy far up there.
Yeah, she's crazy far up
Sorry.
there. She's like number 3. And I actually sat in on both of your sneak peeks, like your little week-long events. I back-to-back did her event and then your event. And I was like, I told Daniel about both of you, talked about both of you, we prayed, and I was like, I'm drawn to you each for different reasons, but I feel like it's Brittany. Like, I just felt like I believed in you.
Yeah.
So 25 minutes later, there you go, ladies. There's my answer.
It's not just about fitness. It's about you. And it's about you as a person and what your, I don't want to say what your life represents, because we're all on a journey. We're all on kind of that thing. But, you know, like what Rachel just said was like balance and being perfectly imbalanced. And like, that's just huge. So when you're sharing your story as a new coach, like, people want to relate to you and people are going to be inspired and impressed. And like, look at who she is to me. Like, she's my mentor from high school. Like, I would have never and you know, what's funny is I remember seeing her name pop up on Facebook because she would always check in at her boot camp place. I'm like, man, she is rocking it. And this is a lesson I learned. I was terrified to message her about coaching and about fitness because I'm like, I don't like to come off as that pushy girl. But I'm so proud of her, and I think she would make I would love to talk to her and work with her and have her on my team. Like, I really think she'd make a great coach. And I just remember I would never do it. There's no way I wasn't going to do it. And then she messaged me one day, and I was like, oh my God, I think you got it. I would have lost her, you know? But so, you know, two things there, like sharing your story, and even for Rachel's side, checking into that boot camp, and she was showing me man, she is on that thing. Like, she is there. She is showing up at boot camp. She is not missing it, and she's getting her booty kicked every single time. You know, so on the flip side, I'm looking at her check-ins and I'm looking at her life going, that's who I want on my team. Like, I like what she represents. I like what her life is like. I want her on my team. So while you're posting and while you're looking at all these, you know, people in these groups or whatever, I don't want to say be choosy, but, you know who you want on your team and who do you want to work with as in your challenge groups. Because I think that makes this so much more fun. Like, everyone on this call that I can see or know their number, I would not mind sitting with you in a coffee shop or take you on a retreat for a weekend, you know, because that stuff happens. And if you don't want a room full of people that you don't connect with. So make sure you're sharing your story. And, you know, we're very blessed in a business that you get to be who you want to be, whoever that is. Like, how many jobs can you talk about God on a call? And if people want to get offended and leave the call, go find another team, because this is the culture of my team. This is the center of it. So you get to be who you want. You get to be who you want to be, and you get to do that. And that's cool. So who you are, post it on Facebook, be you, and share that journey, share that story. And it really comes out and it'll help you in the end. And it just makes you feel good as a person to be able to get it out there therapeutically. So make sure you're sharing your story, your journey, not just about weight loss, but who you are as a person, what your life means, what you're about, what's important to you, and your values, because that comes out as a leader. And tying into that, make sure you're sharing your coaching journey. So if you're striving to add coaches to your team and build a team, adding, you know, sharing your workout journey and Shakeology and how that's helped you is awesome, because that's what the company is about, you know, is our products and programs for challenge groups. But when you're talking about coaching, people really don't understand that. Like Rachel just said, she didn't even know Beachbody coaches exist. So making sure that, one, people know you're Beachbody coach, because they could see the fact that you're doing T25 and you're posting about it, or 21 Day Fix and you're posting about it. But if they don't ever know you're a coach, they're going to go on Amazon, they're going to go on eBay and just buy it. And then they're going to come to you and say, hey, I just purchased this workout. And you're going to go, well, why didn't you purchase it from me? And they're going to go, I didn't know you were a coach. And you're going to go, well, why didn't you know I was a coach? Well, we never posted about it. Oh, right? Right? So sharing what coaching has done for you, or even in your posting, I love being able to coach these people. I love being able to mentor. I love being able to share my tips and tools with people in my challenge groups. And, you know, don't be afraid to own that. It's not an icky word, Beachbody coach, or just say fitness coach or health coach. But own that coaching journey and share what it's done for you, not just financially, but as a person, and just the community of the team and the community of what this has done for you and the growth. You know, has it brought success to your marriage? Has it brought friendships in your life? Has it, you know, helped you overcome battles? Like, what has coaching done for you? And just share bits and pieces about that throughout your posts and stuff. Anything else? Those are the big things that I've heard a lot the last 7 days about, like sharing their story, posting, how to start introducing the coaching, you know, topic to people. And so next week we'll talk about really like posting for coaching and inviting to coaching, and kind of help you guys get set up for the next event invite so that you guys can build your team and build your confidence as a leader. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week. Okay. Last thing I have for you guys. Yeah. She froze. She'll come back on. She's been freezing the whole night. So last thing, what I would love for you guys to do for me is I'm going to create a document in the team page. And I just want to know like what you guys need help with in your business and what topics you guys would like to hear about on these calls. So that way, if there is a week where I'm not having a lot of questions or I'm not having like a common theme, we have some topics to fall back on, and have like things that you guys want to talk about that maybe you guys haven't heard about in a training in a while or whatever. So if you could just go into that document, it doesn't have to be anytime soon, but if something comes up, just go to that document and put in like getting coaches started right, or how to handle objections, or how do I handle shit. Like it can be super specific because we can fit in a few topics in one call. So if you have anything that comes up, like just go back there so I have stuff to kind of fall back on and help you guys with specifically to your businesses. Sound good? Yeah? All right, guys. Well, thanks for hopping on. I'm going to push stop recording. We appreciate you guys hopping on. And the recording will be up tomorrow probably, because it takes a while to upload.